In a world increasingly shaped by climate uncertainty, one major announcement has rippled across the scientific community and into the daily lives of millions. The Australian Bureau of Meteorology has officially declared the end of the 2023 El Niño cycle. While this might sound like just another climate update, it's actually a profound turning point in how we understand and prepare for the planet's rapidly changing weather systems. The conclusion of this recent El Niño marks more than just a meteorological milestone. It comes on the heels of record-breaking global temperatures, extreme heat waves, and unusual weather disruptions across continents. For many, the end of this event brings a sense of relief. For scientists and climatologists, however, it signals a new chapter, one that demands even closer observation, deeper understanding, and urgent action. But to fully grasp the importance of El Niño and its cold counterpart, La Niña, we must dive into the story behind these powerful natural forces. This isn't just about weather. It's about ecosystems collapsing or thriving, economies booming or faltering, and millions of lives being affected without a single warning from the sky. Let's begin at the source. El Niño and La Niña are like opposite siblings in a powerful family of climate phenomena. They are the warm and cool phases of a larger system known as the El Niño Southern Oscillation, or ENSO for short, which plays a critical role in shaping global weather patterns. These phases begin in the vast equatorial Pacific Ocean, but their impact can be felt from the flood-prone valleys of South America to the drought-stricken plains of Africa, and from the rice paddies of Southeast Asia to the storm-lashed coasts of the United States. In an El Niño event, the warm phase, sea surface temperatures in the central and eastern Pacific Ocean become significantly warmer than normal. This shift disrupts the usual atmospheric circulation patterns and sends ripple effects across the globe. Trade winds, which typically blow westward across the Pacific, weaken or even reverse, pushing warm waters towards South America. This warming halts the usual upwelling of cold, nutrient-rich water, leading to ecological imbalances and, often, a chain of extreme weather events. In contrast, La Niña, the cool phase, does the opposite. Sea surface temperatures in the same region fall below average, and the trade winds intensify. Warm water is pushed even farther west, promoting strong upwelling along the South American coast and reinforcing normal atmospheric conditions, albeit with amplified effects. These fluctuations, while natural, are anything but benign. Their timing, intensity, and duration shape everything from hurricane seasons in the Atlantic to the risk of wildfires in Australia and California. Imagine a single shift in the Pacific Ocean setting off a domino effect that triggers floods, droughts, wildfires, and crop failures across the planet. That's the power of El Niño and La Niña. During El Niño, we often see an increase in global temperatures. Warmer oceans lead to more evaporation, which feeds storms and alters atmospheric pressure systems. This results in heavier rainfall in some areas, like the west coast of South America and the southern United States, and prolonged droughts in others, such as Australia, Southeast Asia, and parts of Africa. La Niña, on the other hand, brings its own set of disruptions. Cooler waters tend to lower global temperatures slightly. In the U.S., La Niña is often linked to colder winters in the Northwest and warmer, drier conditions in the southern states. It can also supercharge the Atlantic hurricane season, giving rise to more frequent and intense storms. But it's not just rain and temperature we're talking about. These events also affect wildfire seasons, with drier conditions often leading to more devastating fires. They influence wind patterns, jet streams, ocean currents, even the amount of carbon dioxide plants can absorb. In El Niño years, Reduced plant growth due to heat and drought limits nature's ability to pull carbon from the air. Meanwhile, forest fires, made worse by the same dry conditions, release even more carbon, contributing to the vicious cycle of climate change. From food supply to public health, from storm insurance to power grids, few systems remain untouched by the effects of these global patterns. What makes El Niño and La Niña especially important is how deeply they are woven into the systems that support human life. In the oceans, El Niño disrupts one of the planet's richest ecosystems, the Pacific fisheries. Warm water kills off the nutrient-rich upwelling along the South American coast, which in turn leads to a crash in plankton populations, the base of the marine food chain. Fish like anchovies disappear, seabirds go hungry, and entire fishing economies suffer. On land, agriculture is among the first sectors to feel the pain. Crops fail where rains don't fall, and floods destroy harvests where too much water falls too fast. Farmers from Peru to India lose livelihoods, and global food prices spike. Even distant economies feel the shockwaves, as supply chains tighten and commodity prices fluctuate. Energy production isn't immune either. Hydropower systems rely on consistent rainfall. A dry season brought on by El Niño can limit electricity generation and strain infrastructure. On the flip side, storms and floods can damage power grids, roads, and homes, driving up repair costs and insurance premiums. The human cost is often hardest to bear. Malnutrition, displacement, poverty, and disease follow where weather turns extreme. Vulnerable communities, especially those with limited access to resources, face the brunt of the fallout. These are not just climate stories. They are human stories. El Niño and La Niña are not one-off events. They return again and again, like ticking climate clocks, roughly every 2 to 7 years. Each event typically lasts from 9 to 12 months, although some can linger longer, with consequences that last even after the ocean has calmed. El Niño tends to occur more frequently than La Niña, but both phases are part of the same underlying mechanism, the ENSO cycle. Scientists track these shifts using satellites, ocean buoys, and sophisticated climate models, but forecasting them remains a challenge. The irregular timing and intensity of each event make long-term planning difficult. Farmers, governments, and businesses must often rely on probabilities, not certainties, when preparing for an ENSO phase. Still, understanding the average frequency gives us a rough window for readiness and a crucial opportunity to act before disaster strikes. Here's where it gets more complex and more urgent. As our planet warms, the behavior of El Niño and La Niña may be changing. Some climate models suggest that a warming world could lead to stronger, more frequent El Niño events. Others propose that the spatial distribution of ocean temperatures might shift, altering the very nature of these phenomena. What does that mean in practical terms? It could mean more record-breaking temperatures, stronger hurricanes, worsening droughts, and heavier floods. It might mean more sudden collapses in food supply chains or unexpected public health crises driven by extreme weather. We're entering an era where natural variability and human-driven climate change are no longer separate issues. They are intertwined, feeding off each other in unpredictable ways. A hotter planet may not only amplify the effects of each El Niño or La Niña, but also make their outcomes more chaotic, less predictable, and more dangerous. This is why continued investment in climate science, global cooperation, and local preparedness is no longer optional. It's essential. We can't stop El Niño or La Niña. They are part of Earth's natural rhythm. But we can forecast better, prepare smarter, and respond faster. Early warning systems can give farmers time to protect crops. Disaster preparedness plans can save lives during floods and storms. Climate-resilient infrastructure can minimize damage to cities and supply chains. And international cooperation can ensure that vulnerable countries receive support before, not after, catastrophe strikes. And on a personal level, being informed matters. Understanding how these global forces affect your region, your economy, and your future empowers you to act. Whether by voting for science-based policies, supporting sustainability initiatives, or simply preparing your own family for a stormy season ahead, you can make a difference. The end of the 2023 El Niño cycle doesn't mean the end of climate disruption. In fact, it's a reminder that these forces, though natural, are now unfolding in a world reshaped by human activity. We are no longer just passengers on this planet. We are engineers of its future. The next El Niño or La Niña will arrive, as it always has. But how we respond, as individuals, communities, and nations, will determine whether that future is one of chaos or resilience. Stay aware, stay informed, and stay ready.